Hello everybody, this is Max Farrow once again here with Deck Signals, and in this one we're going to be going over the history of the intraday signal, basically the one who flew over the cuckoo's nest. I know, it's been a wild ride. Okay, so in the beginning, from the daily signals we've been compiling data from the very beginning of us building this network and me coming up with the algorithm. And at first we had an intraday system, an intraday set of trades that was happening sort of in the same fashion as the dailies with a ranged emergence time-based system. And it really depended on the movement of the market. But because the intradays were a shorter period of time by almost threefold, it kept on pushing out certain things that it just became too much, that if it needed movement to do it, but just a perfect amount of movement to make them work 100%, not 100%, but to a high success rate. So we knew that we had to come up with something else. Now, we had that system on, and it took us a long time. We had it for more than 6-7 months, and it was gathering a lot of information. And even that information, even that data told us a lot, that it gave us an availability to see what was working and not working. So we decided to float with another process. And so we re-engineered the process, the intraday signals themselves, to use more of a trending system. And what this means is that we had an availability to see where the trend was happening. If you see this blue line here as a trend, and when it would start to falter, it would immediately fire a signal for itself from that point. And because it had such a short period of time to recuperate, if the expiry was right here, it was well below our number to be able to reach. So we've seen this as a very good potential, and that's what we ended up using. We kept on using that process. That gave us this opportunity that you see in front of us with our intradays now. So basically the intraday signals themselves, okay, because there was a previous version of them, these are signals that fire out 23 hours a day. From Sunday night 6 p.m. to Friday afternoon 3 p.m., the last expiry being about 4 on Friday afternoon. The intraday name itself comes from the statement name that's on Nadex and the type of trading they are. Intra, meaning during the day trading. Basically, you're not holding it overnight. Here we are over at Nadex, and if we go to the Forex binaries, we can go into any one of these right now. Well, maybe not yet, but right now. And we can see that there's like a 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Now, the intra means that because it's during the day, but Nadex provides us with a 1 or a 2 hour split in here. So between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m., the expiry being 3 p.m. So the statement starts at 3 p.m., at 1 p.m., and goes all the way to 3 p.m. An hour later, another one fires up for 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., and that's what it does all day long within that process. Now, what pairs does this happen to? Well, there are 5 pairs like the one I just showed you that do this all day long. So every hour they come out with a new 2-hour block, except at the top of at 5 o'clock each day, there is a downtime from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And then the new intraday comes out from 6 to 8. So the very next expiry for a signal is at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So it does that for 5 of the pairs. And if we head back over to Nadex, you can kind of see, I think that you'll see, like if you see the Audi JPY, doesn't have anything left. There's not even a 3 p.m. in there. 1 to 3 p.m. in the Audi USD and 2 to 4 p.m. on the Audi USD. But you get to the Euro. Oh, here I got to refresh. Oop. Give me 1 second. Forex binaries. Euro British Go Pound. There's the 1 to 3 there, but there's no 4 o'clock like in the Audi, you see? So the Euro British Go Pound is on the other side, as you see, right? See, and then there's 5 pairs that only do it from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern time, giving us sort of a split reaction here. There's some times that we can get into all of these, and then there's some that we can't. So from 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 p.m. in the afternoon, we can get into, there's probably about 10 different pairs we could probably utilize that could fire off at that time period. But in most cases, right, there is, throughout the day, there's only those 5 pairs. Now, the pip spread between each one is different. So it's different for every pair. Some being that have 4 pips between them, some have 10 in between. And with the indicative pricing and the pip spread, this prevents us from pinpointing the actual entry point on Nadex's system there until we get Nadex's API, and hopefully that's pretty soon. So we try to get as very close to it as possible, and then you have to make some adjustments and some decisions. So you got to start preparing for the signal. The first thing you need to prepare for is there any news? If there is, no trading. And if you follow the same news trading cycles I showed you in the previous videos, a half hour before, a half hour after, depending on the news cycle, okay? If there's no news, then let's continue, okay? All right, so now we need to know the strike we are looking for is always above 1 or 2 pips, just by 1.8, 1 or 2 pips, of course, okay? So that's where you're basically going to stay. And I'll show you what I mean when we get over to the site for signals. Okay, so when we first get to the site for the Pro Signal side of it, you're going to see you're going to be on live daily signals, right? So we just want to click over to Intraday. Now, here in the last hour, we've had everything closed and we've had some news processes happen, so you're going to see a couple blues here, but that's okay. So basically, it's the same type of signal that it is for the daily. It's just in a shorter time frame. Now, the signals will always come out at the top of the hour or the 15-minute after the hour. It will never come out at 12:30 or on the 30 mark or on the 45 mark. There's no reason to have a half hour or 15-minute red zone trade. Okay, so when the signal first comes out, it's going to give us a number. And like this one did at 1400, 30.29, when we went to Nadex, there might be a different strike price available that we need to be able to get into.